So I was recently commissioned to do a video over at Plugin Alliance on the new Kiive Audio Tape Face. Came out this week, and I didn't want to include this tip in the main video, so this is kind of a addendum to the tips that I have in that video. The kind of idea for this video came from this need to basically create a mix, come off as some sort of authority in how to use a plugin, even though I only own the thing like a day or two. And so what is my process for learning something very, very quickly? What's my process for hearing the different tone subtleties and really just being able to kind of navigate things without taking, months to learn a piece of gear? My ears are not that great. I mean, yes, I've done a lot of practicing, but I have like tinnitus in my ears. It's just hereditary. It's just always there. So I can't really hear ringing of lights necessarily. And so sometimes I have to really crank it to be able to hear like, oh, what is it doing? I don't know. I got to crank it. And so this is my process for learning gear. Hope you enjoy this one. So just a quick update. I have a pad being created for the new studio. This is at kind of our property adjacent to our house. And yeah, that'll be going in 28 feet by 40, a metal building, and then I'll be building out the interior. And so I've talked to a couple of different designers about possibilities of room sizes and such. I'm not exactly sure what I'll do with it. I might just keep it a big open room and just kind of go from there. But yeah, that'll be coming up in the next couple of weeks. I'll be starting to create videos on building that studio. So let's dive into these to this tape face here. I created this mix. It's from my friend Tyler Powell, kind of a sketch of a song that we created kind of on the fly. And yeah, it's probably not my best mix, but it's good enough to kind of toy around with the plugin, see what it can do. And of course, every time you mess with these knobs, it affects the mix, right? That's one of the hardest things about creating YouTube videos is that, like, you mess with something on your stereo bus, and then people are like, why is the kick so loud? And it's like, well, because I mixed to a different tape emulation, like, it's not my fault. Like, I changed the settings in the middle of the video. So anyways, hopefully the mix sounds okay. I think I did this mix to the Type 1 15 IPS. But yeah, so here's kind of the idea, okay? So you got your tape emulation on the stereo bus, and okay, that's all fine and well, okay? But what I did is I added two more. And I didn't want to do this in the main video because I didn't want to seem like the plugin didn't do anything, right? But it was my kind of fast track to figure out what the heck it does, right? Like 5 minutes or less, like just click through. And this was my fast track, okay? So yeah, here is just the one instance on stereo bus. And then I'll add in the two instances, and I'll show you how you can really magnify the subtle color of each of these tape emulations. Okay, so, I don't exactly hear that, right? Just a quick on and off, it's hard to hear. And, that's just the nature of the beast. The longer you hear something, the more you can detect subtle changes. So if you've been mixing to something for a good hour or two, you change the clocking to the internal clock on your converters, and all of a sudden it's like, whoa, Like you can hear the clocking difference. You can hear just very subtle things of maybe the plugins on your stereo bus, right? Stuff that you usually can't hear, you'll be able to hear. So kind of rule number one is use really long examples. And I'm talking like 30 seconds of one and then turn it off another 30 seconds. Okay, let that audio, that tone kind of burn in to your brain. And then when you change it, you'll be more likely to hear it. The other thing is don't focus on one part of the signal. So sometimes it could be just the lows or just the highs. Like you'll notice, oh, that sounds brighter. And then you immediately kind of start fixating on that. And be careful not to do that. You want to make sure that you're kind of observing the whole picture. And that's part of why we listen to longer examples, or not we, but why I'm advocating for longer examples is that the longer you listen to something, the more you can take in. And when you switch, you're going to first notice the high end probably, but then you'll start to notice kind of how does it feel, right? Oh, that vocal seems louder actually. The bass actually sounds a little different too. You know? So it kind of gives you time to reflect on the different pieces of it. Okay, so back to the task at hand. That was one instance. And I mean, honestly, like if I were mixing through this, I could hear it, but quick on and off, it's hard to hear. So let's stack it in. Let's add in another one. And we're going to set it to the same setting. And then do another one to the same setting. I know this seems like so jacked up, but just you know, hang on for the ride here. This is cool. I think it works. Okay, you notice how that was really obvious towards the end there? You can hear the high end creep up as I added in the first one, then the second, then the third. It's just becomes very obvious. Another key note is that I'm using a VU meter, okay? I have level matched each of these so that the level does not change. You don't want to psych your ears out, okay? You want to listen at the same volume. So if you do it with your volume control, for your monitors, okay, that might work, but the best way to do it is to actually just level match using a VU meter, looking at that kind of RMS average volume, and then when you click it on, click it off, you can really hear the difference. And as a side note, this was a game changer for me when I got an external VU meter, because then all the music throughout the day was at a consistent physical volume in the room for the sound pressure level, but I was matching the actual voltage that was coming from the computer to the sound card. So all things being equal, I could actually hear the tone and the difference in tone between different albums. This is stuff that I had never heard before, and when I started level matching, it just all become just very, very apparent. So that is very important to level match as much as you can when doing these comparisons. So that is 3 of that type. Let's have a little fun with this. Let's go to maybe the 30 and see how that sounds. crazy. I mean, crazy the difference there. And if you only had one instance, it might be hard to hear it just kind of very quickly. Okay. Now the tape type 2, this is kind of a more neutral tone. The gain staging is a little different on this, so I'll have to kind of reset this here. Let me just kind of demonstrate how I do the gain staging. I'll be looking at this. I'm first gonna see what the level is without the plugin, and then I'll add it in and then match it. Yeah, it's really close. Sounds like I don't have quite the resolution I need, but let's see here. Something more about there. This VU meter is pretty, wide between the +1, +2, +3 over here. So you're going to get more resolution on the meter as it's jumping around on this side of it versus looking to, -10 to -20. That's 10 dB between these 2 points here. So might be kind of hard to gain match on this side. So I tend to set this up with whatever gain setting I have to be kind of on this side of things. So I have that gain set. Now I'll add in a second one. Okay, so it's pretty close there. Let me see. Yeah, that's pretty close, and you can hear the difference there. Okay, there's definitely a difference. I didn't give you quite enough time to really hear it, but yeah, it's the same volume. It's just different tone. Okay, so let's go back to the beginning here and just listen to the tone. Okay, so I don't know if you noticed the kick drum got a bit more punchy as I took it off, and the high end changed definitely. We're not hearing any vocal at this point, so I won't comment on that, but just some notes, right? Let's go ahead and turn it back on. You are a vision, baby, I am a ghost. You're living high, I'm living lower than most. I'm in the gutter and you're giving the toast. You got it figured out and baby it shows. But here's a secret that you'll never know. While I'm eating. Really interesting, like 500 hertz. Interesting bump there. I never would have heard that without doing it this method, Listen, kind of a weird honky kind of thing. Baby, I am a ghost. You're living high, I'm living lower than most. I'm in the gutter and you're giving the toast. You got it figured out and baby it shows. But here's a secret that you'll never know. While I'm eating. Way to describe it is it's the upper range of the bass guitar. That's kind of the bump. So it's actually pulling that out a little bit. I'm eating crumbs you threw on the floor. I'm not the same fool you used to adore. You look nervous, but baby, I'm sure that this is true. I dreamt of you, I dreamt of you. Okay, so that's probably enough on this one here. Let's kind of skip around. Let's go to 30, see what that sounds like. Okay, so that's kind of the kind of expectation of tape, you know, like 30 is the brightest, 7.5 is the dullest. But this this tape type up here is kind of an Irish based tape machine, and it is kind of known for its tape flavor. And it's you know, it's not as expected with the Type 1, but with the Type 2, yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, yeah, the dull and then medium and then bright. One interesting thing is the head bump effect. So this low boost exaggerates the head bump effect, which is a kind of a naturally occurring bass boost of a certain frequency depending on the type of tape used and the inches per second. And each of these has their own frequency. So there's actually 9 different frequencies that you can, you know, achieve. So the low end boost here, you know, it's not the same. It's 9 different frequencies depending on which one you're using. Let's see if we can kind of pick it out here. This is 30 on Type 2. Yeah, very, very interesting. And if I'm not mistaken, the faster IPs will have a lower frequency. I'll put it in the comments what these frequencies are. But yeah, that is a very kind of helpful effect. Then the bias, I find to be pretty aggressive. You know, it's really kind of a cool thickener for like low mids. But I want to get to the Type 3 and really explore that. So, yeah, we've gone through the Type 2 here. Okay. Type 3 is actually just like a kind of a lo-fi approach. It might be too colored. I don't know. Let's see. I mean, holy cow. Like, we just lost all of our low end. That's crazy. It's not level matched, obviously. It's a little bit different gain staging, but man, that's such a difference. I mean, let's see what the tape, the head bump does here, this low boost. So, I mean, that's the kind of thing where if you mix with that, you could actually pull that off, right? I've made decisions based on some other sound than this one. And so I've boosted different frequencies that are now too much. But if you started out with this and you liked the sound, then you wouldn't have boosted the kick, you know, like I did. And so it wouldn't be too much. It'd actually work. So yeah, with anything on stereo bus, it's pretty much the lens that you're mixing through. So when we just kind of hot swap out different things, it's kind of not a fair comparison because we have a mix that's designed to go for the Tape 1 15 IPs here, and we're doing a very different, you know, tape emulation. Okay, so let's check out the other inches per second here. They each have a different sound. Yeah, that's just too much at that point. At least for this mix, because I, you know, made the mix according to Type 1 15 IPs. And even at that, you know, I came back the next day and my ears were like, whoa, that's not quite what I was thinking. So I added some EQ to kind of pull it back closer to what I was expecting. But yeah, let's have a listen to this Type 1 15 IPs again. Yeah. So I think with anything, you know, if you're able to, you know, kind of pass it through the same device more than once, or, you know, put 3, you know, on a stereo bus, it's a little extreme, but it'll help you learn your tools a lot faster. So yeah, let me know what you think of this. I'm curious if you have any tricks like this one that maybe I can test out and try and see how well they work out for me. But yeah, this one was a cool one. I really like the sound of this thing. It's got a ton of flavor. I probably have like layers and layers of this thing already. So there's a lot of tape flavor going on in this. It might be a little too much at this point. But yeah, let me know what you thought of this video. Talk to you soon.
There's a secret that you'll never know. While I'm eating crumbs you threw on the floor, I'm not the same